Johannes. I'm an artist for Trip to Dover and a radio promoter for the JOT Agency in the Netherlands and Belgium. Before I might potentially confuse you, getting radio play in essence is not that difficult. It's just getting your music to the music director, to the DJ or the presenter, getting them to listen it, and then when they like it, they're gonna play it, and when they don't like it, they're not gonna play it. That's what it comes down to. So thank you very much. Now, you know it's difficult to get new music on the radio. That's why we're here. Just to paint the picture, don't quote me on the statistics, but it's Europe-wide. About 70% of the music is released by majors. They get about 99% of all the airplay. So the remaining 30% of independent releases has to do with the 1% airplay that's left. Now, if you're on a major, don't rejoice just yet. About 5% of the major releases gets radio air support. I believe it's a Europe statistic, but don't quote me on the statistic, it just paints the picture, and ask Chris about the exact numbers. A question could be, why bother really? Your chances are not that good, it's really unpredictable, and radio promoters are quite expensive. I'm going to go through this really quickly, but why are so many people on labels still focused on radio play? Well, normal people, and that's not us, they still discover new music via radio. I know we're talking about tech, we're talking about Spotify, playlists, YouTube, lots of other stuff. A lot of ways in which we discover new bands. But most people on the street, they just hear about new artists on the radio. Secondly, there's some serious money in it, mainly from songwriters, royalties and publishing royalties. A lot of labels, major labels especially, hold all the publishing rights, so maybe no surprise why they're so heavy on radio play. It's a tremendous boost to other activities. Just think sales, downloads, syncs, gig attendance. Radio play can really help your career. And the last one I like particularly is the approved by stamp. It's a freebie, something along the lines of, you were played on national radio, so you must be cool, so you must be good. You can build a lot of hype among your fans when you have even a couple of radio plays, and it can really help you in bookings. Okay, moving on. The question really is, how do we increase our chance of getting radio play? There's a lot of basics, I'm not going to cover that here. If you want to know more, find me afterwards, or Google how to get your song on the radio, how to get airplay. There's a lot of awesome stuff there. What I want to do now is make 4 points, and basically draw you a picture of what the life of a music director looks like. First of all, let's reverse our perspective. We're focused on music, we're focused on new songs. Radio is focused on the listeners, their target audience. It's like radio is not there to support the career of artists. Radio is there to entertain the listeners. How do you do that? By playing the songs they really like. Which are those songs? The songs they already know. Does it fit the format? It's an obvious one, but there's a lot of competition between the radio stations. So every music director has this initial question in their head. Does it fit my format? Which translates to, does the audience that is listening to my channel like the song? If you're targeting a station and you don't fit that format, you're really fighting an uphill battle. Now, we've created a generic song, you fit it perfectly, but you also need to stand out. I mean, I'm sure you're aware music directors get loads of new music every week. They might listen to 10 seconds, 20 seconds, maybe 30 if you're lucky. I'm just going to illustrate this one example, which I think will put it pretty nicely. I know a radio DJ in Holland, and I have to say in Holland the DJs have a tremendous say in determining what's going to be in the playlist. Every Tuesday night he comes home with his pile of new music, and he has it on his computer, he puts it on his playlist. So he sits down, hits the play button, starts playing the songs, then turns away. He turns to his TV screen and he starts to play his favorite game, FIFA, with the sound on mute. He keeps playing his game, just keeps going through it until something triggers him. Something in the song, something in the voice, something in the music, something triggers him enough to hit pause on his game controller and turn back to his screen and see what song or what artist is playing there. Fourth, your artist needs a story. If you have a song and it's amazing, it fits the format, it stands out, you have their attention, quite likely that week there are 3, 4, maybe 5 songs that fall into the same category. So the story behind it, the story of the artist, that's going to determine how you stand out. It creates relevance. I mean, if you just have a good song, it's great, but if the artist is touring in the country you're targeting, or if there's something happening, it means that listeners can grasp it more, so it has better value for it. And I also believe the story creates hype among the DJs themselves. It gives them something to talk about it. Let me quickly give you two examples. Maybe you recognize this picture, maybe not. It's one of big bands in Holland, John Coffey, at a leading festival last summer. Someone threw a beer from the back of the tent to the singer while he was singing the song. In the middle of the song, he managed to catch it, drink it in one go, keep on singing. Well, that's just, there's no marketing budget that can go against that. Second example from my own band, Trip to Dover, with our first radio campaign we did. We had a tour and we had a sold-out show in London. I mean, it wasn't really a big deal. It was a 50 capacity venue. We were supporting another band. They probably brought about 40 of the attendees and we brought 10. But with our radio campaign, we put a little leaflet in it which had a list of all the shows and also a little label next to the one that was sold out. That same night, a DJ on air was talking about, I found this band, they're from Holland, I don't know them, I've never heard from them, but they've sold out a London show. And this became a big thing. We got a couple of plays out of that. We got invited to the radio station a few times. And for us that was a major factor in playing about 30 festivals last summer. Okay. We started the radio campaign, we've done all this, we fit the format, you stand out, you've created this story. We not created, you used what's already there. Everything is there. How does it go from there? If the music director got your song, he listened to it, and he really liked it, that doesn't necessarily lead to airplay. And I often call this the waiting game. I've had a couple of discussions with DJs, and we're talking to each other and about this band, about this song, and they're looking at me like, yeah, it's a great band. Yeah. I really love this song. I love it. Yeah, awesome. And then he kind of looks at me expectantly, like, what are you gonna do about it? And I'm like, well, how about you gonna play it? But with everything that's happening, with all the songs that are coming out, you need to kind of keep going backwards and forwards between the different DJs, keep giving them news to increase the chance of this song actually getting there somewhere. So this leads me to this question: do you still need a radio promoter in this day and age? Well, not always, I think. It depends on your goals. I mean, you don't really need a radio promoter to get your songs to the radio, or maybe you don't even need it to get them to listen to it, but that's why it starts to get a bit tricky. But the part after that, it's between the moment that a music director has listened to a song and then it goes on the radio, it can be very quick, but it can also be a process that goes on for weeks or for months. And that's especially true for up-and-coming artists or artists that haven't had radio play before. You sort of really are working on a campaign, building up the momentum. And I think, well, depending on how good you are at it, that can be hard to do it yourself. But it's really the same discussion about, do you need a booking agent? Do you need a record label? I think the answer is not necessarily, but their expertise can really help. I'm going to wrap it up actually, and I'm going to just leave you with this final slide, mainly because I wanted to show off my drawing skills. But my conclusion would be, don't put all your eggs in the radio basket. Radio is incredibly important, it can help you, but it's also quite unpredictable. And if you just focus on radio, you might end up with nothing. Whereas if you focus on other areas as well, like press campaigns, online platforms, but don't forget the possibilities the artists have themselves with their gigs and social media and mailing list, you have a potential of crossover. I've had campaigns where the radio campaign was kind of stuck a little bit, but the press really lifted off, or the gig listings exploded, and that really helps in the other areas as well to get success. And also, by being out there in the real world doing things, you create story around the artist, and you're not just plugging a song which is not living out there in the real world. Because when it comes down to it, your goal is not to be on the radio. I mean, if you want that, then bring out new music is not the best way to do it. Go swim with sharks or something, do something crazy. That's a much easier way to get on the radio. But what you're really after is your distribution channel. What you're after is a way to communicate your message or your song to a wider audience. And I firmly believe if you incorporate radio in your entire promo or marketing campaign, you have a much higher chance of success. And also, if things don't go as planned, you have loads of alternatives. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you very much. It's worth to approach online and radio stations. I think it's definitely worth it. I'm not sure if I've heard the theory like if you play to 10 people at an online station and you do it 1,000 times, it's the same impact as a national play. I don't think that's true, but I think as an artist it can help you to focus on the online and smaller radio stations. If nothing else, it trains you in doing the promotion to the radio and doing interviews. But you can also use it to create hype. As a band myself, we did a radio campaign of a week. One or two of them were national, the other ones were small regional stations. But all our fans, they thought, we've made it now, that's it, we're superstars. So, yes, I would say.
How much does timing factor into getting more radio?
How much does timing factor in? Yes, that's a good one. It matters a lot. I mean, I often say an independent new artist around Christmas, I wouldn't do it just because in Holland we have 1 or 2 spots. Michael Bublé is bringing out his double album, that's 1 or 2 already taken. So, some things you can plan, other things you can't. I mean, I've heard bands that have this brilliant song, but then there's a comedy song about a purple crocodile and that suddenly hits the #1 in the chart, so you're screwed. It's a hard one. It's like, it's a bit of luck involved, but also what I said, especially with new artists, the process is often not like 1 week and that's it. It's a campaign that goes on for months, where you build it over a couple of songs, so you kind of increase your chances if you build up your promo campaign properly, I think.
Great. Thank you very much.